The nation watched in disbelief as Chancellor Rachel Reeves was confronted live on television, her claims about a decade-long tenure at the Bank of England unravelling under scrutiny. What was once a cornerstone of her professional narrative now appears to be a carefully constructed illusion. This isn't just a minor discrepancy, it's a revelation that strikes at the heart of trust and integrity in public office. As the layers peel back, the question looms. If she could misrepresent her past so boldly, what else might be concealed beneath the surface? Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, has long touted her experience at the Bank of England as a testament to her economic expertise. In interviews and speeches, she confidently stated that she spent a decade at the institution, shaping policies and gaining invaluable insights. However, recent investigations have cast doubt on this narrative. According to the BBC, Reeves's tenure at the Bank of England was from September 2000 to March 2006, a period of 5.5 years, not the 10 years she claimed. This period also included nearly a year spent studying for a master's degree at the London School of Economics, further reducing her active time at the bank. The discrepancy came to light when Richard Madeley confronted Reeves on Good Morning Britain, highlighting the inconsistencies in her stated employment history. Madeley pointed out that Reeves had claimed to work at the Bank of England for a decade, but records indicated otherwise. The confrontation left Reeves visibly unsettled, as she struggled to reconcile her previous statements with the emerging facts. The revelation has sparked a broader conversation about honesty and accountability among public officials. If a high-ranking government official can misrepresent their professional history, what does that say about the standards we hold for those in power? The public's trust hinges on transparency and truthfulness, and any breach of that trust can have far-reaching implications. As the scrutiny intensifies, Reeves faces mounting pressure to address these discrepancies and restore confidence in her leadership. The controversy surrounding Rachel Reeves has ignited a political firestorm, shaking the foundations of her credibility, just as Labour prepares for what could be a decisive general election. While the claim about a decade-long stint at the Bank of England may have seemed like a harmless exaggeration to some, it has snowballed into a defining moment for Reeves and the Labour leadership. The issue isn't just about the numbers, it's about the perception of truthfulness from someone aspiring to manage the nation's economy. For months, Reeves has been presented by Labour as a competent, experienced economist, someone who understands the intricate levers of fiscal policy and monetary strategy. Her supposed 10 years at the bank was a central pillar of that image. But now, with the truth emerging, showing she was there for just over 5 years and absent for a significant portion of that, her carefully constructed reputation is starting to crumble under the weight of its own contradictions. The confrontation by Richard Madeley on national television wasn't just another media slip-up, it was a moment of exposure. Millions witnessed it in real time, and the footage quickly spread like wildfire across social media platforms. As the segment aired, viewers began questioning not only Reeves's honesty, but also the broader narrative being pushed by Labour. If the Shadow Chancellor was willing to double her time at the Bank of England for political clout, what else might she be embellishing? The idea that a high-ranking figure would need to inflate her resume to appear more qualified has stirred deep concern among voters who already feel disillusioned by political spin and manipulation. Reeves's awkward responses, her stammering attempts to deflect, and her inability to provide a coherent explanation only deepened suspicions that this wasn't an innocent mistake, but a deliberate deception. Digging deeper into her record, independent journalists and watchdogs began piecing together the real timeline of Reeves's employment. From September 2000 to March 2006, her role at the Bank of England was far more modest than the senior-level policy-making job her past interviews had implied. She began as a graduate economist, a respectable position, but far from the type of senior advisor role that would justify the sweeping claims of shaping monetary policy for a decade. Furthermore, her year-long absence for studies at the London School of Economics was never clearly disclosed when she repeatedly touted the 10 years of central banking experience. This deliberate omission now looks more like a strategy to create a false aura of economic authority. In the high-stakes world of politics, where perception is often reality, such revelations can be fatal. Labour's response has been tepid at best. Party spokespeople attempted to downplay the situation, insisting that the discrepancy was simply a matter of rounding up her experience. But voters aren't buying it. The British public has endured too many scandals, too many cover-ups, and too many lies from those in power. They are no longer willing to accept half-truths disguised as political marketing. Reeves's case is especially troubling because it touches on competence. Unlike a personal scandal or a minor ethics breach, this cuts directly to her qualifications for overseeing the economy, arguably the most important job in government besides the Prime Minister. If she can't be truthful about her own career, how can she be trusted to present honest economic forecasts, negotiate international trade deals, or manage inflation crises? The backlash has been swift and unforgiving. Political commentators have dubbed this the Reeves resume scandal, and editorial pages from the Telegraph to the Times are filled with sharp criticism of Labour's credibility crisis. Meanwhile, her political opponents, most notably Reform UK and the Conservative Party, have seized the opportunity to paint Labour as a party of fabricators and spin artists. Richard Tice and Nigel Farage have both blasted Reeves in their latest public statements, accusing her of misleading the British people while demanding a formal apology. They argue this is not just a matter of political optics, but a breach of public trust that should have consequences. The fact that this revelation came from a mainstream television appearance, not a hostile exposé or a political rival's smear, campaign, gives it added legitimacy and makes it even more damaging. What's more disturbing is the timing. With the election drawing near, every candidate's background is under a microscope. Labour was hoping to glide into power on a wave of public dissatisfaction with the Tories, but now that plan is in jeopardy. Keir Starmer, who has stood by Reeves until now, is also feeling the heat. Calls are growing louder for him to address the scandal directly, but his silence is deafening. Voters are beginning to wonder whether this is a one-off incident or part of a deeper pattern of truth-bending within Labour's upper ranks. If Starmer continues to ignore the issue, he risks appearing complicit, or at the very least, indifferent, to the importance of truthfulness in his cabinet. For Rachel Reeves, the consequences could be career-ending. Her credibility, once her strongest asset, is now her greatest liability. The political class, the media, and most importantly the public, are demanding answers. The pressure is mounting not just for clarification, but for accountability. Will she come clean and admit to deliberate exaggeration? Or will she continue to double down, hoping the scandal fades into the background? Either choice carries risk, but silence may be the most dangerous path of all. In an era where trust in politicians is already at historic lows, this scandal has become a symbol of everything the public detests about modern politics: spin over substance, image over truth, and ambition over integrity. As this saga unfolds, one thing is clear. The damage to Rachel Reeves's public image is real, and it's growing. This is no longer just about a job at the Bank of England. It's about character, trust, and the standards we expect from those who seek to govern. If the rest of Labour's leadership continues to stand by without acknowledging the gravity of the situation, they may soon find themselves dragged into the same credibility crisis, one that could reshape the outcome of the upcoming election. The storm has only just begun, and its impact could be far more severe than anyone in Labour's inner circle expected. The fallout from Rachel Reeves's exposed exaggeration has rapidly escalated beyond mere embarrassment, transforming into a serious political crisis for Labour at a crucial moment. The opposition has wasted no time weaponising this scandal, relentlessly attacking Reeves and, by extension, Keir Starmer's leadership. Every press conference, every interview, and every public statement now features pointed questions about the Shadow Chancellor's honesty. The narrative quickly shifted from policy debates and Labour's manifesto promises to a singular focus on trustworthiness and integrity. Political analysts warn that this is not a trivial matter that will quietly disappear. It's a gaping wound that cuts deeply into Labour's credibility, shaking voter confidence and raising doubts about the party's readiness to govern. The Conservative Party, desperate to regain lost ground after recent setbacks, has seized this opportunity with vigour. Tory MPs and spokespeople have lined up to condemn Reeves, calling her claims a deliberate attempt to mislead the electorate, and questioning whether such a candidate should hold any position of economic authority. The Prime Minister's office issued a statement condemning the apparent dishonesty and accusing Labour of a broader pattern of deception and misinformation. This attack plays into a wider public sentiment, growing increasingly sceptical of politicians in general. For many voters, this is not just about one person, but about the entire system of political accountability, or the lack thereof. The scandal feeds into the wider narrative of a broken political class, out of touch with ordinary citizens. Meanwhile, within Labour's own ranks, the atmosphere has turned tense and uncertain. Behind closed doors, party officials are scrambling to contain the damage and manage the rapidly spreading crisis. Some MPs have privately expressed frustration and disappointment, worried that Reeves's misstep threatens to derail Labour's carefully crafted campaign strategy. Others urge a swift, unequivocal apology to rebuild trust and demonstrate accountability. But Reeves's camp remains defensive, resisting calls for a full confession. This internal divide signals deeper problems, a leadership team struggling to maintain unity under pressure, and a communication strategy that is increasingly reactive rather than proactive. The challenge for Labour is not only to address the immediate scandal, but also to repair the longer-term erosion of voter confidence. The media coverage has been relentless. Major newspapers, television networks, and online news outlets are dissecting every detail of Reeves's career, her past statements, and her responses during the live TV confrontation. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds where supporters and critics clash over the implications of the scandal. Viral clips of the live TV moment where Reeves was confronted have been shared millions of times, often accompanied by sharp commentary and memes that ridicule her and Labour as a whole. This relentless public scrutiny magnifies the pressure on Reeves and the Labour leadership to respond decisively and transparently. Attempts to dismiss the scandal as a minor error only seem to fuel the fire, further alienating voters who demand honesty and clarity. The timing of this crisis could not be worse for Labour. With the general election looming, every campaign event and policy announcement is now overshadowed by questions about integrity and truthfulness. Polling data released since the scandal broke indicates a troubling drop in Labour's support, with some surveys showing a slight rebound for the Conservatives and a surge in popularity for Reform UK, and other smaller parties positioning themselves as credible alternatives. The electorate's appetite for change is still strong, but trust remains the key currency in this election battle. Voters want change, yes, but not at the expense of electing leaders whose character is under question. This dynamic has injected a new layer of unpredictability into what was already a fiercely contested race. Starmer's position is under increasing scrutiny. As party leader, his response to the scandal will be judged harshly by the public and media alike. So far, his statements have been measured, calling for clarity and honesty, but stopping short of directly condemning Reeves or demanding her resignation. This cautious approach may be designed to preserve party unity, but it risks appearing weak or evasive in the eyes of voters desperate for decisive leadership. Political commentators speculate that if Labour's support continues to erode, pressure will mount on Starmer to take stronger action, whether that means distancing himself from Reeves, reshuffling key personnel, or launching an internal investigation. The question hanging over the party is whether Starmer can steer Labour through this crisis without losing the confidence of both MPs and the public. The opposition's relentless focus on this scandal has also distracted from Labour's broader policy agenda. Issues like the NHS crisis, cost of living pressures, and the climate emergency, previously central to Labour's campaign, are now being drowned out by debates over political honesty. This shift not only weakens Labour's position, but also plays into the hands of the Conservatives, who seek to frame Labour as more interested in spin than substance. For ordinary voters struggling with real-world problems, this perception could prove decisive. Political trust isn't just about personal reputations, it's about the belief that leaders will genuinely work for the public good. If Reeves's Deception undermines that belief. It risks alienating precisely the voters Labour needs most. As the scandal continues to unfold, questions multiply. Will Labour's attempts to control the narrative succeed, or will further revelations emerge? How will Reeves's colleagues respond if the pressure becomes unbearable? Can Starmer maintain his grip on leadership amid growing calls for accountability? And crucially, what will this mean for the British electorate when they head to the polls? The stakes have never been higher, and the drama surrounding Rachel Reeves's Bank of England job has become far more than a mere political footnote. It is now a defining moment that could reshape the future of the Labour Party and the UK's political landscape. The unfolding saga around Rachel Reeves's live TV exposure has ignited a storm that refuses to settle quietly. This scandal is far from over, and its consequences will ripple through the coming weeks as the election draws near. For you watching now, it's crucial to stay informed, to question what politicians say, and to demand transparency from those who seek to lead. Every voice matters in holding leaders accountable and shaping the future of this country. If you want to keep up with the latest developments on this explosive story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Don't miss out when the next shocking revelation drops. Share your thoughts below. How do you think this scandal will impact Labour and the election? Your opinion could be part of the conversation that shapes the outcome. The political battlefield is heating up, and the next move could change everything. Stay tuned. The truth is only just beginning to emerge.